With its compact size, comfortable ride, efficient powertrain, and affordable price, the Maverick instantly became one of the most desirable pickups on the market. However, what if we tell you that Ford management is planning another, even smaller and more affordable pickup? Would you be interested in such a vehicle? Watch this video until the end to find out how the new Ford Ranchero can make Ford Maverick obsolete. What's the general idea behind Ranchero's revival? It may be absent from the market for decades, but the Ranchero is a well-known nameplate among car enthusiasts. The legendary coupe utility vehicle was produced over several generations and was always characterized by a nice mix of performance and flexibility. Unfortunately, the new model would offer no more than flexibility. The good old days when Rancheros with 6 and 8 cylinders were common are gone. The new model would have to be efficient. The whole idea is to use a familiar nameplate to popularize a new pickup, which would be significantly smaller, even smaller than the Maverick. Allegedly, Ford plans to attack different markets, so North America will be just one of many parts of the world where the new Ranchero would perform. Thanks to compact dimensions, light chassis, and hopefully affordable price, this model could be a great solution for small businesses around the world. Europe should be one of the key markets where this model would replace the aging Transit Courier. Body style and styling. The old Ranchero was famous for its coupe utility design, with a single cab style and a pretty impressive cargo bed. Car enthusiasts may feel nostalgic about it, but such a design approach doesn't have much chance for success these days, so the new Ranchero would have to be way more flexible. The overall exterior design would resemble the classic coupe ute body style, but it would actually be a little bit more rugged, with a layout that takes some bits of a classic pickup design as well. In such a scenario, a single cab layout doesn't seem particularly likely. Instead, 4 doors and the ability to accommodate 4 passengers seem way more realistic, along with a flexible cargo bed. In terms of styling, we might see some influence from globally sold models, such as the Puma crossover, which would borrow some of its sleek aesthetics to the new Ranchero and make it look quite attractive. Considering that this model is also expected to perform in Europe and other markets, it could also come in additional layouts, including a panel van body style to replace the aforementioned Transit Courier, which hasn't changed for almost a decade. Size and platform. Some earlier reports were suggesting that the new Ranchero would be based on the C2 platform and that would share a lot of parts with the Maverick. However, with the current situation in the Blue Oval Company and massive production issues with models like Maverick and Bronco Sport, there's no way Ford has enough capacity to make another vehicle based on this platform. Also, the new Ranchero is planned to be notably smaller and more affordable, so the use of a more basic platform makes way more sense. We're thinking of the B platform, which underpins models like the legendary Fiesta and the aforementioned Puma. Most parts would be shared with the subcompact crossover, not just in terms of aesthetics, but in mechanics as well. We presume that the chassis and suspension setup would be quite similar. On the other hand, the Ranchero would feature a notably stretched wheelbase, so it could be able to accommodate a decently sized cargo bed. Something between 105 and 110 inches between the axles seems compact enough, without stepping into the Maverick's territory, which features more than 120 inches between in the wheelbase. As for the overall dimensions, the Maverick features around 200 inches in length, so the Ranchero probably wouldn't measure more than 180 inches. Smaller size means better maneuverability compared to the Maverick. The Ranchero would be more engaging to drive, but due to this simple suspension setup, it probably wouldn't be as smooth as the Maverick. Styling-wise, the aforementioned Puma could serve as a good basis, especially at the front. In such a scenario, everything from the front bumper to the B-pillar would look very similar to the small crossover, while the rest of the vehicle would feature typical features of a pickup, including a cargo bed. Other reports suggest a little bit bolder and more aggressive design approach. In such a scenario, we might see a lot of similarities with models like the Ford Escape, especially if the company decides to go with the C2 platform after all. Engines. The new Ranchero would be nothing like the old one. Not only that it would be much smaller, but it would also come with significantly smaller and less capable engines. Large displacement and longitudinally mounted 6 and 8 cylinder engines are, unfortunately, just a distant memory. The new model would put focus on efficiency and affordability, so base units would most likely feature no more than 3 cylinders. We're thinking of the company's well-known and multiple times awarded 1.0-liter EcoBoost engine, which would probably come in 2 output variants. The base iteration would feature a max output of 125 horsepower, while a 140 horsepower version is expected too. A larger, but also 3-cylinder 1.5-liter engine might be offered in higher trim levels, with a max output of 200 horsepower. As the new small pickup would also be offered in Europe, we presume it could come with a diesel engine as well, with a 1.5-liter 4-cylinder turbo diesel. In the case of a more upscale design approach, which would include C2 architecture, there would be additional powertrain possibilities. We don't believe that the company would offer a 250 horsepower Turbo 4, as such a decision would make the Maverick less exclusive. On the other hand, a hybrid powertrain makes perfect sense. The system would be the same, based on a 2.5-liter Atkinson cycle inline 4 gasoline in combination with a single electric motor. The max output is rated at around 191 horsepower, and the engine comes coupled with an eCVT gearbox. With such a powertrain setup, it's not hard to conclude that fuel economy would be one of the key benefits of a hybrid-powered Ranchero. With a smaller size, weight savings, and sleeker profile, this model would be significantly more efficient than the Maverick, which is already considered a fuel sipper. The Maverick returns around 42 miles per gallon in the city and 33 miles per gallon on the highway, while the new Ranchero would probably be able to match ratings of the Escape Hybrid, which go all the way up to 44 miles per gallon in the city and 37 miles per gallon on the highway. Interior design. Flexibility is the key. The Ranchero would be somewhere between a pickup and a coupe ute in terms of the body style, so we presume that the cabin design would stick with the same philosophy. In other words, the interior should be very car-like, with a dashboard that doesn't look as bold as in the case of Maverick. That dash looks very truckish, with a design that's rather functional than stylish. The Ranchero, on the other hand, would come with car-like interior aesthetics, with a clean and smooth dashboard design and ergonomics that are similar to a small crossover, like the aforementioned Puma. However, one of the key characteristics of the new Ranchero will be an affordable price, so savings on materials are pretty much inevitable. Many areas would be covered with hard plastics and low-rent materials, but the cabin would still look modern and attractive. Moreover, it would also come equipped with modern tech features. A decently sized infotainment screen is the first thing that comes to mind, along with various connectivity features, including wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, as well as a good portion of modern driver assistance and safety systems. In terms of seating configuration, we already established that the new Ranchero won't feature a single cab layout. Instead, we're about to see a double cab design with 2 rows of seats. Of course, the cabin would have to be less spacious than the Maverick, but we still expect it to be roomy enough for adults in both rows. With a modest overall length and a decently sized passenger area, it's easy to conclude that the cargo bed can't be particularly spacious. As the 200-inch long Maverick features a 4-foot 6-inch bed, the 180-inch long double cab Ranchero probably wouldn't be able to offer a cargo bed that's longer than 3 feet and 6 inches. Such a modest size would be compensated with additional flexibility. We're thinking of some kind of mid-gate design, something that the old Subaru Baja used to compensate for in very short bed length. GM also uses a similar patent. With such a design, the new Ranchero would feature a kind of mid-gate as well as rear seats that can fold flat. In that way, an extra cargo space would be provided in just a couple of moves. Moreover, Ford might go even further and offer a system where front seats can fold down as well. The company already came up with a patent called Pivotable Sill for a Vehicle, and the new Ranchero could be one of the first models to feature it, along with the Maverick. Release date and price. So far, we didn't get a chance to hear anything from the officials on this matter, but our insiders suggest that the Ford management is seriously considering the new Ranchero. They suggest that the new model could arrive already in the next year, or maybe in 2025. An affordable price will certainly be one of the Ranchero's key selling points, and if Ford decides to build it over the B platform, it could easily start under $20,000. and become, by far, the most affordable pickup on the market. Thanks for watching. See you next time.